Just how we have poetry, that is called, that's called prose. So we have poetry, and then you have the normal text, how we talk. That's that's how you normally talk. Basically, the chapters, the stories that we've read. So that's prose, and poetry is verse. That those are poems, like the rhyming scheme and everything that comes in our poems. Drama and theater is like a mixture of poetry as well as prose. So it's slightly challenging, but it's actually very fun to read. Okay. One of the most famous people who have ever written drama. It's Arijit Singh when we think of sad Hindi songs. Shakespeare is like that, just a little very old and very, very famous. He's famous all over the world for the kind of plays that he wrote, also for the kind of poetry that he wrote. Okay. So today we are going to read a play by Shakespeare. Okay. Keep this in mind. These are very old plays. Okay. So a couple of words that you'll come across here are just normal words like we use. They're just written slightly differently and pronounced slightly weirdly. Okay. Rest, everything is fun. This story is about love. Okay. So it's like the romantic movies that we see, just slightly different and more complicated. And there are a lot of characters. Okay. You watch a movie or a series, there are a lot of characters. Some of them are very important. Some of them are not that important. But every character has something peculiar, like let's say if you're watching Nagin, the series, because a lot of people know about it. So if that person is the Nagin per se, then they're portrayed to be really beautiful. They have some characteristics of that particular role, right? Similarly, in this play, you'll see some people are described in a certain way, and they have some characteristics that are with them, that define them as people, as characters. So understand that, and then you'll understand why they are behaving in a certain manner. Okay? All right. So we're going to read a little bit of introduction before we read the actual thing so that we can understand it better. Okay? Who wants to read today? किसी का मन है आज शेक्सपियर को रीड करने का? Okay, perfect. Diksha, go ahead. We're going to start with the second paragraph of his introduction, this part.
A Midsummer Night's Dream was written around 1595 as an entertainer at the marriage of some great nobleman, and was later performed in a public theatre. It embodies the Elizabethan era, which believe in witches and spirit. An inevitable part of this drama, these elements and dramatic material are used here along with songs, dances, clever ideas, mistaken identities, etc. The play forces the reader to land into the beautiful land of imagination, where all adventures seem possible in its fictitious fairy world. By the end of the play, Shakespeare makes us think about the way human beings think, act, and love, once again underlining his deeper awareness of human nature.
Perfect. You read very well, Diksha. So we read years like this, okay? So we don't say 1595, we say 1595. You know how we are living in 2022? Wow. 2022, similarly, this is 1595. We say it like that, okay? So 2022, 1595, okay? Now, A Midsummer Night's Dream, as we read in this introduction, has a lot of fairies and witches and supernatural creatures, okay? Not like vampires, like the kinds that we have these days in our stories, but that time there used to be more fairy witches, okay? So it's all the more fun. Elizabethan era is an era in the history where Queen Elizabeth was ruling, and Shakespeare existed in that time. So, like for example, if I write today, my writing, my work will be very much related to, let's say, the pandemic, COVID, because I'm living in COVID. Similarly, the time where Shakespeare lived, that has affected how he wrote. That is why we need to know when he wrote. Okay, that's the only reason why we need to know it. Okay, now take a look at this picture before we start. This is actually a fairy. Okay, and she is holding hands with a man with a donkey head. Okay, so that is this sort of a portrayal is there of, you know, affection and love and weird pairs in the story. Okay, all right. So another thing that this tells us about is Shakespeare makes us think about the way human beings think, act, and love. That is another thing Shakespeare is very famous for. When you read his plays, even though they are about weird things and weird people, you can at some plays, you know, relate it to your own life. Okay, that is something about a very good piece or work of art. You'll be able to relate to it on a certain level, to a certain character. Okay, for example, we say that Bhagavad Gita is a great work of art. Why? Because, or is a great piece of writing. Why? Because you can always learn. No matter what is happening in your life, you can read and you can maybe get a couple of lessons. So that's a great work of art. Similarly, in this play, you'll be able to relate some aspects of it to your life, maybe some fights, maybe some confusion, something would be relatable. So pay attention and, you know, try to think of what can I relate to from this play. Okay. Let's look at the theme. I want to go through this slightly quickly. So I'm going to be reading this and explaining this. Okay. Anyone who has a doubt, please raise your hand, and I will mostly try and explain all difficult words. But if you have a doubt, please ask. Okay? Abhi tak kisi ko doubt hai koi bhi? No? All good? Okay, lovely. Let's move. So the theme is, as I told you, is love. Okay? Shakespeare tries to portray how people tend to fall in love with those who appear beautiful to them. You know, beauty is a very, very central part of any romantic story. Have you ever seen a romance movie when the heroine was not very beautiful? Or the actress or the hero was not beautiful, they were all ugly? No, right? It's mostly beautiful people that we see in these movies who fall in love or portraying any sort of role. They're very good looking, right? So he's talking about the aspect of beauty. Through attraction, though attraction towards beauty might appear to be love, but real love is much more than mere physical attraction. हो सकता है आपको जो इंसान देखने में सुंदर लग रहा है वो आपको अच्छे से पसंद ना आए, या फिर हो सकता है somebody who might not look that attractive to you is somebody who might become a best friend, you know. So you might see someone and say, oh, that person looks really pretty, but she is my best friend because I like her more because of all the other things that she has, right? So that's what he's talking about. Okay. प्लॉट ऑफ द प्ले. किसी भी प्ले का प्लॉट क्या होता है, कहाँ पे वो प्ले हो रहा है और क्या चीज बेसिकली क्या चीज होगी उस प्ले में. ओके, टू अंडरस्टैंड प्लॉट ऑल यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड इज, अगर आप मूवी देख के आओ, लेट्स से यू गो फॉर अ मूवी टुडे एंड यू कम बैक होम एंड यू टेल योर मॉम एक्जैक्टली व्हाट हैपेंस इन द मूवी, but you don't obviously say every dialogue. You just tell her what happens roughly. Yeah, jaate hai, ye karte hai, that this happens, that happens, and then you're like, then it ends. A very good ending or a very bad ending. That's the plot. What you're talking about is the plot. Basically, what all happens in this story. Okay, so let's take a look at the plot. In the palace. So here, things happen at different locations in this play. Okay, so the first location that we're going to talk about is in the palace. The reason why we need to understand the entire plot before we read the story is because in our book, we have the last act of the story. Okay, all the acts, and there are a lot of acts before that, they are, well, we don't have to read them because they're not a part of our syllabus. But we need to understand what has happened. So we will read the plot and then we will start with the play. This is not the play. Okay, this is very much like the chapters that we usually read. Okay, in the palace, Theseus wins Hippoclita in war. They are to be married with great pomp in 4 days' time. Pomp means बहुत ज़्यादा big fancy wedding होने वाली, खूब बड़ी सी शादी. Okay, in 4 days' time, after 4 days, he instructs Philostrate to arrange for the celebration with great revelry. उनको, one of his people, he instructs them कि आप बहुत अच्छे arrangements करो, make excellent arrangements. I want to have a beautiful wedding. Okay, Aegus marches with Hermia, Lysander, and Demetrius. I know the names are these are all names of people, okay? They're very different from us, just like Muskan, Rakshita, Aarti, Shahnaz, Vishakha. Similarly, it's Aegus marches with Hermia, Lysander, Demetrius to complain that Hermia disobeys him and stubbornly refuses to marry Demetrius. Okay, Hermia is a girl. Lysander, Demetrius, and Aegus are all men. Okay, Aegus is slightly older. Okay, so this Hermia, this girl named Hermia, she is not wanting to marry Demetrius. She's actually in love with Lysander. The Duke Theseus urges her to obey her father. Okay, so Aegus is Hermia's father. Okay, Hermia Aegus अपनी daughter को लेके आता है, अपनी बेटी को लेके आता है Hermia को. Then my daughter, he gets her sort of to the king. Okay, so here we are calling him the Duke. The Duke is a different thing, sort of a different location, but basically the same concept of a king. Okay, so the ruler of that place. He's getting into him and he's saying, but my daughter, look at my daughter. She doesn't want to marry this man that I've chosen for her. She's in love with another person. So jo hamare thesis of being a great, Duke, he says, obey your father. And what does Hermia do? She refuses him also. She's like, I'm not going to obey. The Duke gives her 3 alternatives: to marry Demetrius, become a nun, or to suffer a death sentence. These are the options that Hermia has. Either she has to marry the man that her father has chosen, or she can become a nun, marry nobody, live a life of chastity, or she has to suffer a death sentence. The Duke of Athens, Theseus, gives her time to think this over until the day of his own marriage. So she also has 4 days to make this decision. Just as Theseus is preparing for his wedding, on the day of his wedding, he is ready to give her a death sentence also, if this is what she chooses. Okay? So these are the choices that she has. As somebody who's fallen in love with someone whom her family doesn't approve in that time in Shakespeare's time. Okay? Lysander and Hermia decide to elope to the woods and get married. So she obviously doesn't want to die. She doesn't want to marry Demetrius, and she doesn't want to become a nun. So what does she do? She runs away. Simple answer. Demetrius, who used to love Helena. So Demetrius also doesn't love Hermia. Okay? He loves someone named Helena, who is Hermia's friend. Okay? So Demetrius loves Helena, and Lysander loves Hermia. And both of these couples are okay because they don't have any clashes. Okay, has rejected her love and now is interested in Hermia. Okay, plot twist. Okay, so earlier there was no confusion. I was like, cool, you love him, I love somebody else, so I'm okay. But now what has happened? Now Demetrius has actually started liking Hermia. Okay, so now there's a huge problem. Hermia reveals her secret plan to her dear friend Helena, whom Demetrius likes. Okay, try to picture these, give them names of your owners if you want to picture these people. Okay, so वो अपनी friend को जाके, जैसे how we tell our friends everything, it's like, oh my, I'm not going to do this. Similarly, she goes and she tells her friend, she's like, I want to do this, in order to comfort her. She's like, oh, I'm going to do this. This is my plan. I don't want to die. Hermia has made a last-ditch attempt to win back the love of Demetrius. She's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to tell this guy, so that maybe when he realizes that this girl that he wants to marry, she's not even interested in him, maybe then he'll want to be with her. So that's exactly what she does. She makes a last-ditch attempt. She decides to, basically अपनी friend की चुगली करती है वो. She decides to, ditch her friend and to win back the love of Demetrius for Helena, who reveals to Demetrius that Hermia plans an elopement with Lysander to the woods. Okay? So now look at the people who know. Lysander and Hermia obviously know. Hermia told Helena. Okay? So now Hermia knows that Helena knows. But Helena then went ahead and she told Demetrius. Now, both Lysander and Hermia, they don't know that Demetrius also knows. Okay, but now Demetrius knows. Okay, Demetrius, he decides to follow Hermia, and Helena, she decides to follow Demetrius. So now everybody, all four of these people are heading where? To the woods. Okay, now comes Queen's Cottage. So that first place we were in the palace. Now we come to a different location, which is the Queen's Cottage. Different location, different set of people. Let's see what they're doing. A group of workmen from Athens wish to perform a play at the Duke's wedding. Who's the Duke? Theseus, the one who made that decision. He's going to have a wedding in 4 days, right? There is a group of people, a group of workmen from Athens. Athens is a very famous place for philosophy and drama, a lot of things. They want to perform a play, just like the play that we are reading. So most of Shakespeare's play, a very cute thing, most of the Shakespeare's play, they have a play within the play. Okay, so there is that. These people, they want to perform a play at this Duke's wedding. Quince is in charge of the direction. Okay, Quince एक इंसान है जिसकी cottage, मतलब cottage is as in उनका घर, okay, जिनकी cottage का ये scene है. So Quince, that person, is in charge of the direction. वो director है उस play के. Production and rehearsal of that play. Okay, so basically he is doing the role of, he's the producer, director, and he's planning everything about that play. Okay. Bottom one of the over-enthusiastic, talkative, self-appointed active worker from the group wants to play every role of the play. Okay. So you know how there is one person like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Have you ever had one of those people in your class? People who always want to, I'll go and get the duster for ma'am. I'll go and fill the water bottle for everyone. Yeah. So there is one worker like that who wants to do something like that. Okay. Pyramus and Thisbe, that is the play that they want to, that's the play that they want to perform. They all plan to meet in the woods for the rehearsal. Ooh, who else is going to the woods, guys? Lysander, Hermia, Helena, and Demetrius. Well, they are running away. These people are going to the woods to rehearse for their play. Okay, now let's see what happens in the woods. Okay, so now the location is in the woods. What is happening? A group of workmen from Athens, the ones that we just saw at Queen's Cottage, they wish to perform a play. Sorry, I went up. A different world unfolds in the woods. Okay. So अब जैसे हम woods में आते हैं in the woods तो पूरी setting दी जाती है, setting के साथ साथ एक different world में आ जाते हैं. Woods as in a very natural setting, trees and everything. But what else comes along with this? In the woods there is this whole world of fairies and other supernatural things. So now look at this: the king of fairies, Oberon, and the queen of fairies, Titania. These are two more people that are coming into our play. So there is Oberon and Titania or Titania are having a fight over the custody of an Indian boy. What is an Indian boy doing there? But okay, there's an Indian boy in that world and they're fighting over the custody. Custody means when that, if you've adopted a child or if you have a child, your parents, and you have custody over that child, unless they're 18 years old. Okay, so your parents have, they have to take care of you, like that's law, according to law. So they'll take care of you and basically they will be in charge of you. You know how you are in charge of a couple of things? Similarly, when somebody becomes a parent, they have the custody of their child. If they adopt a child, they have the custody. So these two people are fighting over the custody of this Indian boy. In order to teach a lesson to Titania, Oberon hatches a plan with the help of Puck. Oberon orders Puck to bring the magic potion. Puck is another person, okay? Puck is like Oberon's, one of Oberon's men, okay? Because Oberon is like the king of fairies. He's got to be like this really powerful person, right? I mean, we have kings and queens here in our world and they're powerful. Imagine the king of fairies. It's a very powerful person. So he orders Puck. I'm very happy to see you, Rinki. Hi. So he orders Puck to bring this, magic potion thing that he's going to teach a lesson to his wife. Tatiana is his wife. So king and queen obviously married, right? So they are both husband and wife from fighting. Now he decides to teach a lesson. Okay. What is this magic potion called? It's called love in idleness. Okay. This magic potion is called love in idleness. The juice of which, what does this potion do? Let's learn. The juice of which, if poured on the eyelids of a sleeping person, makes him or her fall madly in love with the first person he or she sees after waking up. Ooh. And this is something that we've seen a lot in, all these. Have you seen the Cupid's bow? If it hits you, the next person you see will fall in love with them. It happens a lot in like cartoons also. I think it has once happened in Tom and Jerry also. Somebody did something and whoever Tom would see next, he would not fall in love with that person. And then he sees Jerry and he falls in love with Jerry. So it's a very common trope. But this is Shakespeare started this sort of a thing. Okay. So there's this magic potion. It's called love in idleness. If someone's sleeping and if you put 2 drops of it, you know how we put dropper in our eyes? Similarly, if you put 2 drops of that potion on someone's eyelids, not inside the eyes, on someone's eyelid. Okay. This thing that covers our eye, that's our eyelid. Okay. Eye is the thing inside, of course. Eyelid ko Hindi mein kya bolte hai?
Palak.
Palak. Exactly. Palak is a very beautiful name too. So eyelids, आप किसी की पलक पे, if you put that magic potion or that juice, what happens is they fall madly in love with whoever they see next. Okay. He thus plans to madden Titania and get the custody of the Indian boy. So he plans to make her, his wife, fall in love with some other random person, whoever she sees when she wakes up, so that he can then have the custody of the Indian boy. Now you can very well imagine what tricks Puck, a mischief spirit, is going to play with this magic potion in the forests. Okay, so Puck, though he is one of the disciples of that king, he's also a very mischief means shaitan. Okay, he's a mischievous child. That means he's a very naughty child. He likes to do a lot of things. Okay, so this Puck is a very mischievous spirit, or a mischief spirit. It's a kind of spirit, okay? Categories of love spirit, mischief spirit, like that, okay? So Puck is a mischief spirit. He's going to play with this magic potion if he's going to get possession of it, right? He's going to go and bring it for the king to use it. So now he has that potion. Let's see what he does with that potion, okay? Now our 4 lovebirds are now in the forest. Demetrius enters the woods, okay? Followed by Helena. Oberon notices his cold behavior with Helena. Okay. Now Oberon, this fairy god, maybe probably knows all of these people because, well, he's a fairy. Okay. So Oberon, he notices his cold behavior to Helena and decides to develop feelings for her in the heart of Demetrius. Oberon is like, I see these 2 people. I see that the girl likes the boy, but the boy doesn't like the girl. What I'll do, I'll make this boy fall in love with this girl because I have that love potion, no? So he decides to develop feelings for her in the heart of Demetrius, okay? And orders Puck to apply the juice on his eyelids and marches into another part of the wood, okay? And applies the sleeping potion on the eyelids of his wife. That's why he got the sleeping potion in the first place. He wants to trouble his wife. But when he looks at this couple, Demetrius is following who? The girl he loves. And Helena is following him because Helena loves him, right? But when King Oberon sees this, he sees that Demetrius doesn't like her, but Helena, she really likes him. So what does he do? He tells Puck to put the magic potion on Demetrius so that Demetrius falls in love with Helena whenever he wakes up after sleep. Okay? यहाँ तक सबको समझा? आ रहा है समझ में क्या हो रहा है? Give me a thumbs up if everyone's getting it. If you're not getting it, that's okay. I can explain it again. Is it interesting? Tell me this. Is it fun and interesting? Yeah. It sounds like a Hindi movie, right?
Yes, it's like I watch movies and you tell all movies what happened in upcoming.
Okay. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying this. Okay. So let's see what is happening next. Okay. So he wants Puck to apply the potion. And on Demetrius' eyes, and he's going to go and apply it on his wife. Okay. Soon arrives the eloping couple. Who's the eloping couple? It's Lysander and Hermia. Okay. Tired. They too sleep in the same woods. All of these people are tired because the woods are quite far away from, let's say, the palace. And because these people are running away, well, they don't have any horses, and cars didn't exist in that time. So they're walking. So they get tired and then they fall asleep. Okay. So they too sleep in the same wood. Taking Lysander for Demetrius, Puck squeezes the juice on his eyes. Now, Puck, being the person that Puck is like, oh, is this the person he told me to put the juice on? He gets confused and he puts the magic potion, the magic juice on the eyelids of Demetrius. Mind you, sorry, on Lysander. He was supposed to put it on Demetrius, he puts it on Lysander. The first person Lysander sees after waking up and falls in love with her instantly. Okay. But who does he see? Who enters? I'm sorry, I lost my terrain. Okay. Helena, who enters the wood following Demetrius, proves to be the first person that Lysander sees. Okay. So Lysander, who loved Hermia, sleeps. Puck puts the magic potion. When he wakes up, he sees Helena and he falls in love with Helena. Now, Helena loves Demetrius. Demetrius loves Hermia. Hermia loves Lysander, and Lysander now loves Helena. Now it's a whole huge cycle. Nobody loves each other. It's just random people loving other people. Okay, so what was simpler has now gotten more complicated. Puck has done a bad job. Okay. Puck, who is appalled by the awful acting of Bottom, bewitches him by transforming his head into that of an ass. As here is the donkey ass. Did you see the first photo that we saw? The man with the donkey head? That's Puck. Okay. Titania sees ass-headed Bottom, and one can guess the result. Okay. So it's not Puck, sorry. Bottom is Bottom is that bad person who wanted to do everything in the play. Bottom, one of the over-enthusiastics. Okay. Bottom is one of the workers from Athens. You know that person who's like, I'll go get the water, I'll go get the duster from the other chalk. That's Bottom. His name is Bottom. Okay. And Bottom is acting very, very, like Bottom does not know how to act. Okay. When Puck sees this, he's like, oh my God, that man is so bad at acting. Why is he doing this play? And he gets so angry at that man that he decides to change his head to that of a donkey. Okay. And this donkey-headed person is what Titania first sees when she wakes up. So she falls in love with that person. Okay, got it? Now the Oberon's wife, the fairy queen, is in love. This is the picture that we saw. This is the fairy queen, this is Titania, and this is Bottom. Okay, Bottom now has a donkey head, and she first sees him after she wakes up, and she falls in love with him. Got it? यहाँ तक सबको समझा? Got it? Cool. Now we are reaching the end of the play. Okay, so if you've gotten this, we're almost very close to the end. Okay, let's see what happens next. In another part of the woods. Now this was one part of the woods. Okay, people fell asleep. Wrong people fell in love with wrong people. Very wrong people. Now they've all woken up. They've seen the wrong people. Now let's go to a different part in the woods. Puck wins praise by Oberon for his affair of Tatiana and Bottom. because Bottom is the worst kind of person that she could have fallen for, like a human being with a donkey head. That is hilarious. So he's very happy because he wanted to punish his wife, and that is exactly what happened. She fell in love with somebody who has the head of a donkey. So he's praising Puck. He's like, well done, Puck, you did a great job. But as Oberon realizes Puck's mistake of using the love potion for Lysander instead of Demetrius, he himself squeezes it on the eyelids of Demetrius and sends Puck to fetch Helena, which leads the fierce quarrel between Hermia and Helena, as also between Lysander and Demetrius for Helena. Okay. So now what happens? Lysander, because of accidentally, being confused for Demetrius, he accidentally fell in love with Helena. Demetrius fell in love with Helena, well, because Helena already liked Demetrius. So we were like, let's make them fall in love. Now everybody loves Helena. And Helena and Hermia are also fighting because, well, they were friends. Why did Helena betray Hermia? Maybe that's what the fight is about. Okay, so this is what was happening. Oberon then gets the muddle sorted out by setting the wrong right in case of all Athenians, by removing the spell of the potion from Lysander and restoring his love for Hermia. Okay, now what does Oberon do? He's like, oh my god, this is getting really bad. I mean, everybody's fighting. What do I do? Well, he's the fairy king. He has magical powers. So what does he do? He removes the effect of the magic potion from Lysander. So now Lysander, who accidentally fell in love with Helena, his love for his own actual person whom he loves, Hermia, is restored. Okay. Oberon also feels the need to release Titania from the spell, as he feels sorry for her. And his purpose for obtaining the Indian boy is also well, he already obtained the custody of the Indian boy because this, fairy queen was so madly in love with this donkey-head person. Everyone thought that she was crazy. They were like, oh my god, of course you can have the custody of the boy. But now he's like, she's been in love with this donkey-faced person for so long. It's looking so bad. I should maybe release her also of this. He orders Puck to restore Bottom's head. So he doesn't reverse the spell on Titania. He orders Puck to do what? Reverse Bottom's head. So Bottom's head will then become, well, he was normally a human, right? So his head will become human again. Okay. Theseus, Hippoclita, and Aegus enter. These three people we saw in the first scene. Okay. Theseus is that king, the duke who's getting married. Hippoclita is whom he's getting married to. And Aegus is whose father? Does anyone remember whose father is Aegus? Yes, Muskan said it. Sorry?
Hermia.
Yes, perfect, Paul. You guys are getting this. So he is Hermia's father. And they see the 4 Athenians. All these people are Athenians, okay? People who belongs, let's say we are Indians. Similarly, these people, they belong to Athens, so they are Athenians, okay? So in case of all these Athenians, this Oberon, this fairy king, has been fighting with the fate of Athenians. So these Theseus, who's the duke of all these Athenians, Hippoclita, who's going to be his wife very soon, and Aegus, the father of Hermia, they enter the forest, and they see the 4 Athenians. It is the day of declaration of Hermia about her decision. It's been 4 days. Whatever happened, it's been 4 days already. Okay, so today either she has to decide, become a nun or marry Demetrius. But the duke relents to see the love between Demetrius and Helena, and happily allows Hermia to marry Lysander. Ooh, that's a happy ending. What does he do? He's like, oh my god, but this person loves somebody else, so maybe he can marry her, and then Helena, he can marry Helena, and Hermia can then marry whom she loves. So he makes the right decision. Okay. Now comes the final scene of our play. In the final scene, the joyous lovers appear on the screen. Theseus decides it is time to plan the festivities and chooses to see the hilarious play Primus and Thisbe performed. Okay, now the wedding is happening. He's looking at the play. Everything's good. At the end, Oberon and Titania, with all their fairies and elves, come to sing and dance and bless the marriage. So the fairies come and they dance for all of these people and they bless their marriage. Thus the play A Midsummer Night's Dream ends on a happy note. It's a good happy ending. Okay? Everybody got there. Everyone get the play. सबको समझा क्या होगा प्ले में? ओके, प्लॉट क्या होता है ये समझा? आपको समझा? फटाफट हमने क्या समझा कि क्या होगा. Now we will read how a play actually happens. Okay, so ये जो कुछ भी हमने ऐसे story type पढ़ा, अब हम लोग dialogue wise पढ़ेंगे. So all these people that we read about, they will talk to us, or more like they'll talk in front of us, and we'll read about them, or we'll read them talk. Okay, now for this part, I want different people to become different people, guys. It's going to be really fun. Okay, so let's quickly read the synopsis and then we're going to start reading the play. Okay, the scene that we are going to do today, we are not going to do in the palace. We're not going to do the first time they would go to the woods or that other cottage scene. All those scenes are not a part for us. We are going to do the other part of the woods. where the final thing happens, no, everything gets back to normal, the happy ending part, that's what we are reading, the best part. Okay. Oberon enters wondering what Tatiana first saw when she walked, right? When she woke up, she saw Bottom, right? Puck comes to report that he's what has happened and is praised by Oberon for his part in the affair of Tatiana and Bottom. But when Demetrius and Hermia appear to quarrel, Oberon realizes that Puck has anointed the wrong Athenian. Okay, let's just say all these Athenian people look same to people who are not Athenians. It's like it happens to everyone, right? If I see an American person, and like, all American people look the same, and if they see Indians, they're like all Indians look the same, because you don't know a lot of people of that category. Just that. So he thinks all Athenians look the same, and he confuses the Athenians. Demetrius lies down to sleep, and Hermia goes away. So Oberon sends Puck to find Helena and bring her. While they find himself. So whatever we've read right now, same thing is going to happen. Not going to read the whole thing. I think we got this. We can understand this by just reading. Okay, let's read about the different people that are going to come right now. Okay, Theseus, we know, is the Duke of Athens. Okay, all these people are Athenians. They belong to Athens. Like the Prime Minister of India and all Indians. Same equation. Okay. Aegus is the father of Hermia. Lysander is in love with Hermia. Demetrius is also in love with Hermia. Philostrate is the master of revels to Theseus. Doesn't matter who he is. Very small role. Okay. Quince is a carpenter. Snug is a joiner. He's just somebody who joins. Bottom, all these people are the ones who are working, who are the working party. Look at this. A group of workmen wish to perform. From Athens, they wish to perform at this wedding, right? So these are all the workmen. Quince तो वही है जिसकी cottage पे हम लोग थे. We were at Quince's cottage, right? Quince का घर पे थे हम लोग, तो Quince डायरेक्टर वगैरह है, प्लस वो असल में एक कारपेंटर है. ये सब लोग कारीगर हैं, ये सारे के सारे. जो कि क्या चाहते हैं कि वो चाहते हैं कि they also perform at the Duke's wedding. उनको खुश करने के लिए, उनको बहुत खुशी है इस wedding की. Okay? So Quince is a carpenter, Snug is a joiner, वो कुछ चीजें join करते हैं, वो जैसे करते हैं goggles पहन के ऐसे metal से चीजों को join करते हैं, something like that, I think. Bottom is a weaver. We need to know who Bottom is, kind of the donkey head. Flute is he is a bellows mender. Snout is a tinker. Traveling, we don't need to know what these means. It's just people, that's their jobs. Traveling is a tailor. Hippoclita is the queen of the Amazons, betrothed to Theseus. Theseus is he's the Duke of Athens. He's won some war, so he's gonna marry. She's betrothed to him. Hippoclita is like his prize after winning that war. Hermia is the daughter of Aegus, right? And she's in love with Lysander. Helena is in love with Demetrius. Oberon is the king of fairies. Titania is the queen of fairies. Puck, or Robin Goodfellow, he's king's, he's the fairy king's person. Please Bloom is a fairy. Cobweb is a fairy. Moth is a fairy. And mustard seed is also a fairy. So all these fairies have the names of the things that they do. So cobweb maybe does some things as removing all the cobwebs in the world. Moth, moths look just like butterflies. एकदम ऐसे खराब के कलर वाली butterfly ऐसे फट फट they keep flying in the house. That's a moth. Did everyone get it? Do you know what a moth is? Mm-hmm. Moth is like that butterfly with no colors. Okay, like the brown color thing that flies like I said. It flies like it's broken. It's not very pretty, but it's very commonly found. Okay, so that's a moth. So there's a moth fairy and there's a mustard seed fairy. Not very pretty names, but okay names. Okay. So we're mainly going to have dialogues from Oberon, Puck in this particular scene, and then Demetrius and Hermia. Who wants to become Oberon? Okay, Sneha, you want to become Oberon?
Yes, Didi.
Perfect, cool. Who wants to become Puck? Who wants to become Puck? It's okay, guys. You can become Puck. That's all right. I know it looks like Puck has said a lot, but it's going to be fun reading it. Muskan, do you want to try it?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Pinky, you want to become some? Okay, Pinky is going to become my Demetrius. Okay, Pinky? Right after that, it's Demetrius. And who wants to become Hermia? Aarti, you want to become Hermia? Okay, that's so cool. I'm so excited. So we're going to read this play, okay? I'm going to be the narrator, okay? What is a narrator? All these things that don't matter that much in the play, we read that, okay? So Act 3, Scene 2. Other fairies attending their king and queen, attendance on Theseus and Apoclita, another part of the woods. This is the scene. Enter Oberon. Go ahead.
I wonder if Titan Beaver, then what it was that next came in her eyes, which she must done on in extremely. Here comes my messenger.
Enter Puck. Go ahead. ये भी आपका line.
How now, mad spirit? What night rule now about this hunter arrow
Grow.
grow?
One
Grow.
second, stop. एक सेकंड पॉज करना. So यहाँ तक ओबेरॉन का डायलॉग था, ठीक है? पक्का my mistress से. Okay, I'll explain what Oberon is saying and thinking. Okay, very well read. Very happy with that. Okay, okay. So now Oberon is thinking, he's like, I wonder, and थोड़ा सा ऐसे करके पढ़ेंगे हम इसको, ठीक है? ऐसा plan करो कि आप हो. Like, I wonder if Tatiana would be awake. Then what was it that next came in her eye, which she must dote in extremity? Here comes my messenger. Here comes my messenger. How now, mad spirit? What night rule now about this haunted grove? What is he actually saying? He's asking her he's asking Puck ki kiske ka aapne drop dal diya unki aankh mein? Did you put the love juice and who did she see? He's very he wants to know who did she see when she woke up. Dote on extremely. Dote means kisi ko pasand kar. Okay? Dote on someone or is to like someone. Okay, on extremity मतलब extremely मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा. I am extremely happy, बहुत ज़्यादा happy. Extremity means बहुत हद से ज़्यादा. तो ऐसा कौन है जिसको इतना पसंद करने लगेगी मेरे magic potion की वजह से? Now let's see what Puck says. Go ahead, Puck.
My mistress with a monster is in love, near to her close and constricted bower, while she was in her dull and sleeping hour, were a crew of purchased rude mechanics that work for bread upon an Athenian stall were made together to rehearse a play intended for great nuptial day. The solvest thick skin of that born sort, the solvest thick skin who play who famous presented in their sport forsook his screen and entered in a break when I did come him at disadvantage take and assess null I fixed on his head. Unknown his display must be answered. The 14 may mimic comes when they him spray as wild geese that the creeping flower eyes or russet petted growth, many in short, raising and crowing at the guns report savor themselves and madly sweep the sky so that his sight away these felons fly.
Okay, we'll pause here and we'll understand what he's saying. Okay. Now, as I told you guys before, because this is a very old play and because Shakespeare as well, he's Shakespeare. So the language is a little different. But I think if we look at it closely, we'll be able to understand a couple of things. That's why we have this glossary. Iska kya matlab hai? All the list of these words, night rule is not a word that we use these days, right? आजकल हम ऐसे वर्ड्स नहीं यूज करते, उस टाइम के वर्ड्स हैं, शेक्सपियर के वर्ड्स है, थोड़े से डिफरेंट है, इसलिए उनका मीनिंग आपके चैप्टर के साथ में ऐसे दिया है. Okay, now let's understand these words. Aarti, do you have a doubt, la? Or have you raised your hand for reading? No? Okay, good. My mistress with a master is in love. Usually, what do we say? This is very close to poetry, right? I told you. So, how in poetry, we don't use the same order of sentences similarly here. Okay? My mistress with a monster is in love. Near her, close and consecrated, which basically means somebody who is dedicated to her. So consecrated could also be like she's consecrated to Lord or Allah, right? So basically she prays to that person and she's only devoted to that divine power. Okay, was a consecrated boar. While she was in her dull and sleeping hour, जब वो सो रही थी, उनके आसपास एक ऐसा इंसान था जो कि एक मॉन्स्टर जैसा था. A crew of patches. Patches कौन लोग होते हैं? Basically, उस टाइम में patches were clowns or fools, people who were basically very stupid. Okay? अगर कोई इंसान like, oh my god, he's such a patch. आजकल नहीं बोलते हम लोग, but that time we used to say, so basically somebody is not that intelligent. They were a crew of patches, rude mechanicals. You know, these people they're like they're hard, they're worksmen, no? So they don't usually talk to, let's say, women. That's the idea. And they're rough and tough. They don't talk very nicely to people. So they were a group of rude people, rude mechanics that work for bread. Work for bread means they work to feed their stomachs. Okay, so they're not very rich people. Upon the Athenian stalls, were met together to rehearse a play. All these people who are actually workers, they had met together to rehearse a play. Intended means उनके लिए. Intention और intend करना किसी चीज का मतलब उस चीज को करने का क्या reason है. I intend to do this today. मुझे ये आज करना है. Intention वो होता है, ठीक है, किसी चीज को करने की इच्छा. I intend to do this. मेरी इच्छा ये है. Okay. So वो intent क्या कर रहे थे? They wanted to perform it for the great thesis on his nuptial day. Intended for great Theseus's nuptial day. Okay, nuptial day. What is the nuptial day? Is when you get married. The day of your marriage is your nuptial day. Okay. The shallowest thick skin of that barren sort. उसका जो सबसे खराब दिखने वाला इंसान था. That is what he said. Okay, the shallowest thick skin. Thick skin होना means आपको किसी कोई कुछ बोले आपको फर्क नहीं पड़ता. हिंदी में exactly same translation. मोटी चमड़ी जिसे कहते हैं ना, वो है thick skin. Okay, so the shallowest, सबसे उसमें जो ऐसे सबसे खराब वाला इंसान था, thick skin of that barren sort. Barren is basically stupid, brainless. सब उनको बहुत खराब बोल रहा है उन लोगों को. ठीक है, उसको he has presented to. So who barren sort who Pyramus presented in this sport. Okay, मतलब वो ऐसे इंसान था कि उनमें से जो ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो इन सब चीजों के रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं कि अगर the best person in stupidity would have been this person जिनको हमने choose किया है, Queen Tatiana. Okay, Tatiana, it's not her name's not Tatiana, it's Titania. Okay, sorry. Forsook his scene and entered in a break. They took a break from their acting. और ऐसा हुआ कि जब वो उनकी नींद खुलने वाली थी उस टाइम पे वो थोड़ा वहां से दूर आ गए थे, उन्होंने ब्रेक लिया था, सब लोग उधर गए थे उस टाइम पे. When I did him at disadvantage take. जब वो थोड़ा अलग हुए एक दूसरे से, everybody went their own ways. थोड़ा he was away from the rest of his group. He Puck did him at disadvantage. उनको तब दिखा वो. And what did he do? Anon his Thisbe must be answered. Anon quickly मुझे क्या करना है, मेरे को जो काम था कि अपनी जो टाइटेनिया है उनको बहुत ही खराब, बहुत ही मिजरेबल करना है, इसको करने के लिए मैं क्या करता हूँ, इनको और भी खराब कर देता हूँ, उनको डोंकी का सर दे दिया. Okay, for fourth, my mimic comes. Like, this is the man, this very weird looking, not so very handsome man. He should, she should fall in love with him more. And when they spy, when they him spy as wild geese that are creeping fowler eye. So ये इसके दोस्त क्या है? They will try to look for him. ठीक है? Wild geese क्या करते हैं? They keep a close eye on the hunter who is creeping up to shoot them. Okay, so what do? Wild geese, basically geese, और ये तो multiple है इसलिए geese है, वरना goose एक bird होती है, एक type की bird होती है. वो क्या करती है? जिसको हम लोग गीदड़ बोलते हैं, पता है? I think. No, I'm wrong. It's not called गीदड़, guys. It's a bird. Just let's picture it as a bird. Okay. So wild geese एक type की bird थी. वो जब घूम रही होती है ना जंगल में, तो उनको बहुत डर होता है कि कोई इनको मार देगा. लगातार ऐसे ऐसे देखते रहते हैं कि अरे मुझे कोई मार ना दे, हमारे जो झुंड है उसमें से किसी को कोई पकड़ के ना ले जाए. सो सिमिलरली वो क्या बोलते हैं, ये लोग ऐसे हैं, मुझे पता था वो पक्का उसको ढूंढने आएंगे अपने दोस्त को, क्योंकि इनको लगता होगा कोई उठा के ले गया होगा इनके फ्रेंड को. सो जब ये उसको ढूंढने आते, और russet pated cuffs means birds of a crow family. एक टाइप के ऐसे लोग थे, ये एकदम झुंड में रहने वाले लोग थे. तो जब इनको ढूंढने आते, of in many sort, rising and cawing at a gun's report, serve themselves and madly sweep the sky. So basically, server means separate themselves from each other. They separated themselves from each other, this particular group of people, server, and they madly sweep the sky. उनको ढूंढने लगते अपने कौन, बॉटम, जो कि गायब हो गए बेसिकली, क्योंकि वो टाइटेनिया के साथ होते. सो उसने क्या किया, सो एट हिज साइड, अवे हिज फेलोज फ्लैग. उन्होंने ऐसा कुछ कर दिया, बोल रहे मैंने कुछ ऐसा किया है ना कि वो उसको ढूंढ ही नहीं पाएंगे. He's like, now he's going to tell what he has actually done. Okay, यहाँ तक सबको समझा. बेसिकली पक ने क्या बता रहा है ओबेरॉन को, और ओबेरॉन ने क्या पूछा है पक से, रफली सबको समझा. इट्स ओके इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड एवरी वर्ड. If you want to know one particular word, you can ask me. But it's okay if you are just understanding the general meaning. That's also cool. सबको समझ में आ रहा है लगभग क्या चल रहा है अभी? Everyone's getting it? Okay. We have very little time, so we're going to finish Puck and Oberon's dialogue, and then we're going to continue from right here. And this we are going to do tomorrow. We're definitely going to have a class tomorrow. Okay.
And at our stamp, here over and over one falls. He mutters, cries, and help from Anthis calls. Their skin sense thus weak, lost with their fears thus strong, made senseless things begin to do them wrong. For briars and thorns at their apparel snatch some sabres, some heads from elders, all things catch. I led them on in this distracted fear and left sweet Pyramus translated there. When in that moment, so it come to pass. Titania wept and straightway locked an S.
So what did he do? What did Puck do? First, he changed this man's head to that of a donkey. And then, so that all his friends don't come looking for him and find him and take him away before Titania wakes up, he took them all away. उनको वो डराते धमकाते कुछ दिखाते हुए वहां से दूर ले गया. Okay, so all this help from Athens. He was like, these are so dumb people. No, it was so easy to distract them. I just distracted them. I took them somewhere else. This person was standing right here when she woke up and she saw him. What did she see? She saw the face of she saw a donkey when she woke up. Okay, यहाँ तक सबको समझा? Not important exactly what he's saying, but we know what he did. Got it? Okay. Where is Oberon? Oberon, go ahead.
These falls are better than I could deserve. But hast you yet lost the Athens eyes with the love juice as I did with he do?
Perfect. Very well read, Sneha. So it's a slightly different way in which he's written it, but let's understand this. This falls out better than I could devise. Devise मतलब जैसा मैंने सोचा तो उससे भी अच्छा हो गया. Wow. At haste, thou yet latched the Athenians' eyes. आपने इतनी जल्दी जल्दी में ये सब तो कर दिया. Latch मतलब leached, उनके moistened करना. Basically उनका droplet डाला आपने. Athenian उनको दिखे थे Demetrius. He's like, oh my god, I know you were like at haste. मतलब आपने वो तो कर दिया, but did you also do the other thing that I told you to do? With the love juice, as I bid thee do. As I bid thee do, जैसा मैंने आपको बोला था. Thee means, you know how we have tum or aap? Similarly, in English also we have thee and thou. Okay? So thee means you. I had told you to do that. Did you do that? So look at Puck's answer. Where's my Puck? Go ahead, Puck.
I took him sleeping. That is finished too. And the Athenian woman by his side, that when he wept, of course she must be I.
Perfect. So Puck is like, of course I did the right thing. I saw the Athenian guy, took the wrong guy, of course. We know that. It's like, I saw him sleeping. He was sleeping with that woman that you wanted him to fall in love with. I finished that task. She was sleeping with him. When he wakes up, she was sleeping beside him. When he wakes up, he's the first person that he will see and he'll fall in love with her. Cool. Okay? यहाँ तक सबको समझ में आया? Okay. We're gonna continue with this, but we're gonna continue with this in the next class. We have 2 minutes to go. But
we will continue now only.
let's continue. Shall we finish this scene? किसी का class तो नहीं है? सब लोग free हो? Okay, let's do this. All right, good. All right. Oberon, go ahead. Now Demetrius and Hermia have entered. Okay. अभी तक सिर्फ Oberon और Puck थे. Now Demetrius and Hermia have entered. Go ahead, Sneha.
Stand close. This is the same
Athenian. Stand close. जिसको हमको fix करना था, उनका problem वही है.
This is the woman, but not this the man.
Yeah, oh my god. He's like, oh my god, you did the wrong thing. This is the same woman, but this is not the man she's supposed to be with. Where is Demetrius? Who became Demetrius?
Yes. Oh, why rebuke you him that loves you so?
Lay breath. This is also.
Lay breath so bitter on your bitter foe.
Yes. So basically now Demetrius is talking to Hermia and Demetrius he's in love with whom? He has always been in love with Hermia. But right now there is also Helena in picture. We'll see that. Okay, but what is he saying right now? Why rebuke you him that loves you so? तुम उसको ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो जो तुमको इतना प्यार करता है? Okay? Now lay breath so bitter on your bitter foe. Why are you speaking so bitterly? Let's see what your book has given. To speak so bitterly to no one but your bitter enemy. Okay? So now Demetrius, who used to love Hermia, how is he talking to her? He's talking to her now, you are talking to me bitterly, to your bitter foe. He's calling himself, foe means kisi ka enemy. He's calling himself as Hermia's enemy. Now let's see what Hermia says. Go ahead, Aarti.
Now I but child, but I should use the verse for thou.
For thou.
I fear hast given me cause to course, if thou has slain Lysander in his sleep, being o'er shoes in blood, plunged in the deep, and kill me too. The sun was not so true unto the day as he to me. Would he give stolen away from sleeping Hermia? I'll believe as soon this whole earth may be bored, and that the moon.
We'll pause here. Let's finish this off and then we'll go to next. Now I but child. Child means किसी की complain करना एक तरीके से. Okay? But I should see the verse. मेरे को तो आपसे और ज्यादा नफरत होनी चाहिए. Okay? For thou, I fear, has given me cause to curse. Because of you, I am in so much problem. Okay, you don't talk to me like that. That is what he's just basically saying. All of this is happening. If thou hast slain Lysander in his sleep, even if you kill my Lysander whom she loves, even if you kill Lysander in his sleep, bring over shoes in blood, plunge in the deep, and kill me too. If that is how bad you want to be, if you want to fight with the man I love, then kill me also. I don't want to live in a world where I can't be with Lysander. You're so in love with him. Okay? So that's what she's saying. Like, kill me also. Won't kill him, kill me. The sun was not so true unto the day. She's talking in very, very exaggerated form. Just एकदम ऐसे बढ़ा चढ़ा के नहीं बोलते आप एकदम प्यार का ऐसे which is hard types. She's not confessing love to Demetrius, but she's talking about how amazing her love for Lysander is. Okay? The sun was not so true unto the day as he is to me. So she's like, Lysander is the best person to be with. So truthful towards his feelings for me. Would he have stolen away? Both Hermia is fighting with Demetrius because she's like, अरे but Lysander जो मेरे को इतने अच्छे से पसंद करता था, वो मुझे पसंद क्यों नहीं कर रहा है? Demetrius is like, तुम मुझसे इतनी खराब से बात क्यों कर रही हो? She's like, but you know, this person Lysander who used to love me so much that he flew away from our country. You know, हम लोग साथ में भागे, अभी मुझसे बात ही नहीं कर रहा है ढंग से. So you know that is what she's saying. Would he have stolen away? Was it possible? मैं सो रही थी from sleeping Hermia, and I woke up and he's not in love with me anymore. I'll believe as soon as this whole earth may be bored. Okay, that's something impossible. Right? पूरी earth एक साथ कैसे बोर हो जाएगी? कभी-कभी हम लोग थोड़ा-थोड़ा बोर होते हैं. That's what she's saying. Okay, I'll believe it as soon as this whole world gets bored, and that the moon. मैं तो मान ही नहीं सकती. मैं तब मानूंगी, and that the moon may thought the center. Okay, who is reading? Who is my Hermia? Go ahead, Hermia. Go ahead, Rinki. Oh, sorry, please, Hermia. Go ahead, Ad.
May through the center creep and displease her brother, noontide with the antipodes. If it cannot be but thou hast murdered him, so should a murderer look so dyed, so green.
Perfect, well read. So this is what she's saying. She's like, I cannot believe that that man who used to love me so much. मेरे बगल में अब भी सो रहा था, हम लोग थक के सो गए थे. अभी मैं उठी हूँ, so he doesn't love me. You know, I can't believe it unless the moon creeps into the center. So the sun is at the center of the universe, right? Like I will believe it when the moon creeps into the center, and so displease her brother noontide with the antidotes. Moon की वजह से बहुत ज़्यादा टाइड ओशन में आती है. ठीक है, these Athenian people they used to वो ओशन के थ्रू बहुत ट्रैवल करते थे, तो उसको उसने वो किया, तो मून की टाइड वाइड सब चली जाए, एंटीडोट हो जाए उसका, ऐसे मतलब कोई ऐसी चीज हो जाए जो हो ही नहीं सकती, तब मैं मान लूं कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि ऐसा मुझे नहीं लगता हो सकता है. ओके, इट कैन नॉट बी. She's like, it cannot be, but thou hast murdered him. She's like, तुमने ना उसका murder कर दिया. I feel like you killed him. This is not Lysander. Lysander can never not be in love with me. Okay, so she thinks that somebody murdered her lover and presented her with someone who looks just like him. Okay, yes, Karishma, if you're busy, you can. We're going to stop soon. Okay, so what is happening is now she's like, you know, you should have murdered him, and now you look like a murderer to me. So dead, so grim. And she's like, I feel like I should kill you also because you are, you're such a bad person. You should die, not my Lysander. She's saying those things to Demetrius. Okay, who's Demetrius? Did we make a Demetrius?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yes.
So,
go ahead.
so should the murderer look, and so should I, prized through the heart with your stern cruelty. Yet you, the murderer, look as bright, as clear, as younger Venus in her glimmering spheres.
Perfect. So he's saying, so let's do a couple of more dialogues and then I'll explain. Okay, Hermia, go ahead.
What's this to my Lysander? Where he is?
Where is he? Go ahead. Good, Demetrius. This is also Hermia. She's saying this. Go ahead, Hermia, go ahead. Yeah, see ye wala line. Ah, good Demetrius. This is also Hermia is only saying this line also. Go ahead.
I had to rather give his carcass to my
No, love. Who is Hermia?
outdog.
Aarti or Hermia, right? Perfect. Hermia का ये वाला dialogue है. Ah, good Demetrius. This part. Both those lines are said by her. Go ahead.
Ah, good Demetrius, well thou give him me.
Perfect. Now Demetrius, go ahead.
I had rather give his carcass to my hounds.
Okay. Hermia, go ahead.
Outdog, outcar, thou drives me past the bounds of the maiden's patience. Hast thou slain him then? Henceforth be never numbered among men. Oh, once tell true, even for my sake, dost thou have looked upon him being awake, and hast thou killed him sleeping. Oh, brave touch! Could not a worm and adder do so much? And adder did it, for with dowdler tongue then thing. So
Perfect.
certain never adder stung.
Perfect. Where is Demetrius? Demetrius reply.
You spend your passion on a mispride's mood. I am not guilty of Lysander's blood, nor is he dead for aught that I can tell.
Perfect.
I
Tell.
pray,
Go
I
ahead.
pray, I pray thee tell me then that he is well.
And if I could, what should I get therefore?
A privilege never to see me more, and from the hated presence part I show, see me on more, whether he be died or no.
There is no following her in this frieze when here therefore for a while I will remain, so sorrow's heaviness doth heavier grow, for for depth that bankrupt sleep doth sorrow owe, which now in some slight measure it will pay, if for his tender here I make some stay, lies down and sleeps.
Perfect. Let's pause here. Okay. Let's understand all that's been said and then we'll pause for today. Okay. Now, what is happening is, as I told you guys, Hermia is like, I can't believe it. I can't find Lysander. I feel like he's dead. Okay. And I think you killed him. Because Demetrius also liked Hermia and Hermia knew that. Okay. Hermia is like, you wanted to marry me, and so that you could marry me, you murdered the man I love. If you killed him, then kill me also. That's what she said up till now. Now, let's see what she's saying now. Okay. Now, so should the murdered, look. I'm like, अब तुमने देखी तो नहीं है डेड बॉडी लाइसेंडर की, एंड सो शुड आई. जैसा वो मर्डर लगता है वैसा ही मैं रहता हूँ. हो सकता है वो भी जिंदा हो, मेरे जैसा दिख रहा हो. ठीक है. Pierce through the heart with your stern cruelty. Like, you are being really mean, Hermia. Like, you don't even know if he's actually dead. How can you blame me for his death? Yet you, the murderer, I mean, her, the murderer, तुम ही ने किया होगा murder अगर हुआ है तो. Yet you, the murderer, look as bright, as clear as yonder Venus in her glimmering sheer. Mars and Venus are planets that are associated with things, men and women, and here Venus is also the evening star. Okay. So ये बोलता है, like, तुमने क्या होगा murder, मैं तो क्या, or maybe he's alive, I don't know, I've not seen him. Then what does Hermia say? She's like, what's this to my Lysander? Where is he? Where is Lysander? Ah, good Demetrius, wilt thou give him me? तुम प्लीज मुझे बता दो कि लाइसेंडर है कहाँ पे. Oh, good Demetrius. Okay. What does Demetrius say? I'd rather give his carcass to my hounds. Hounds is like bloody hounds, एक animal होता है जो इंसानों को खाते हैं. Okay, like if I know he's dead, I don't want to give his dead body also to you. I will give his dead bodies to those hounds. What does Hermia say? Like, oh, out, dog, out, cur. Such a cur is also another name for a dog. So, oh, gande insaan, jao yahan se. Thou drivest me past the bounds. You have said too much. You've pushed me beyond my boundaries. आपने मेरी limit push की है. Of maiden's patience, of my patience. Hast thou slain him then? Like, have you murdered him? Just tell me if you killed him. Hast thou slain him then? Henceforth be never numbered among men. If you've actually killed him, you are not a person. You're not a human being. You're a monster. Oh, once tell the truth. Oh, once please tell true. Tell true, even for my sake. मुझे पता है तुम मुझे पसंद करते हो, मेरे लिए बता दो. Please tell it for my sake. Thus thou have looked upon him being awake. तुमने देखा क्या जब वो उठा? Because I was sleeping right beside him, and now I can't find him. Where is he? Is he dead? Hast thou killed him in sleeping? Did you kill him while he was sleeping? Oh, brave touch. Could not a worm and adder do so much? Could not a worm is basically worm to earthworm wala worm. Adder is basically, adder are people who add things. Okay, just addition and multiplication wala adder. Could not an adder do so much? An adder did it for with double tongue. Then dying, thou serpent, never adding stung. Basically, she's saying तुम इतने poisonous से snake जैसे इंसान हो जो कुछ तुम double tongue is basically you say something and you mean something. I know you're lying. I don't trust you. Probably you've killed Lysander and you are lying to my face right now. Now let's see what Demetrius says in reply. Like, you spend your passion on mispressed mood. What is mispressed? Mistaken, mispressed. Okay. You know your passion means तुम अपना जो गुस्सा है, जो anger है, तुम गलत इंसान को निकाल रहे हो. You spend your passion on mistress mood. I am not guilty of Lysander's blood. I did not kill him, nor is he dead. For aught then I can tell. I think he's not dead. And मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो मरा तो नहीं. Then Hermia is like, Hermia, I pray thee, tell me then tell me then that he is well. I'm sorry about my dogs. He's like, then tell me, मुझे बताओ ना कि वो ठीक है. मुझे कैसे बताओ? मुझे नहीं पता वो कहाँ पे है. Demetrius is like, and if I could, what should I get for that? Oh, बता भी तो मुझे क्या मिलेगा वो बता के? मैं क्यों बताऊँ तुमको कि वो ठीक है कि नहीं है? What will I get there for? What does Hermes is like? You will get a privilege. You will get a privilege to never see my face again. Never see me anymore. From thy hated presence I part. So मुझसे इतनी नफरत है तो मैं अभी चल जाऊंगी, कभी मेरी शक्ल नहीं दिखाऊंगी. कितनी ड्रामेटिक है हर. You'll never see my face again. From your hated presence I part. So see me no more, whether he be dead or no. अगर आप मुझे बता दो, if you tell me if he's okay, or even if you have killed him, he's dead, whatever has happened, just tell me how he is and you will never see my face again. I will just go. What does Demetrius say? There is no following her in this fierce way. Fierce means what is a gusse. Okay? He's like, oh my God, there is no explaining it to this woman when she's so angry. Here, therefore, for a while, I will remain. Like, मैं यहीं पे रुक जाता हूँ. He's like, I can't explain it to her that I have not done anything to this guy. She's not understanding me. So what I'll do is, sorrow's heaviness doth heavier go. तुम्हारा जो दुख है वो बढ़ता ही जाएगा जितने देर तक वो नहीं मिलेगा. Your दुख means sorrow. Okay, sorrow means dukkh. Sorry, the heaviness is basically the weight. The weight of your sorrow will just grow heavier from now on, right? So what I will do is, for the depth that bankrupt sleep doth sorrow owe. तो sorrow क्या करता है? Sleeplessness देता है. आपको नींद नहीं आती sorrow की वजह से. You know, when you're very sad, you can't fall asleep. When you're very happy, also can't fall asleep. You need to be like in a state to fall asleep. That's what he's saying. So bankrupt means किस बैंक को लूटना को bankrupt करना कहते हैं. Sorry, bankruptcy is having no money in your bank is bankruptcy. Okay, robbing is looting something. Bankruptcy means having zero money in your bank. If you don't have any money, then you become bankrupt. Okay, जिसको हिंदी में हम कहते हैं दिवालिया हो जाना. दिवालिया. Yeah, have you heard that? Yeah, cool. So that's bankruptcy. So bankruptcy. So what happens is the debt, जो आपकी सौरों की डेप्थ है, सौरों का जो उधार है, उसको चुकाते चुकाते आपकी स्लीप के लिए पैसा नहीं रहता. Okay, you become bankrupt. Very poetic. Which now, in some slight measure, it will pay. Right now, you don't have that. You can't sleep because you're so tired. So what I am going to do, as the amazing person that I am, who has so much affection for you, if for his tender here, I make some stay. For his tender, for this person, aapka jo lysander hai, for this person's care and for your care, of course, because he likes her, I'm just going to make some stay. Maximum मैं यहीं पे लेट जाता हूँ, मैं wait कर रहा हूँ, तुमको जितना she wants to freak out and get all angry, you go get angry. I'm just going to lie down here and wait for this to pass and maybe for Lysander to return. Okay, so what does he do? He lies down and he falls asleep. Okay, we will pause here for today. We have exceeded by 15 minutes. But did everyone understand what is happening right now? Everyone got it? It's fun. It's an interesting story. Well, let me see what's happening. Okay, so we're going to continue with this tomorrow. I know I've been trying to keep a lecture on Friday, but what happens is I also have a lecture on Friday, or this at the similar timing. So tomorrow I know for sure that I don't have that particular class of mine. So we're going to have same time. Okay. We're going to have it from 6 to 7 and we're going to continue with this, because if we delay it further, if like we don't do it for a week, then we might forget a couple of things. Okay, let's come back in 1 hour. We'll be able to finish the rest of this play and I want to know what happens next. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you want, go and revise this play, or try. I'll send a couple of really funny videos on this play. It's a very famous play. Some people have performed it also. It's very fun to watch. Okay, but try reading this. It's a very, very good level, difficult English. So if you can read this, you can read anything in the world. Okay, so that's the good thing about this. Okay, lovely. Any doubts for me? Koi doubts nahi hai? Okay, guys. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.